how do I switch it so it's the other way?
Please help me welcome
Hello.
Nicole and Chris to the city. So before we get started, they got to see some incredible numbers, some pictures of your culture, your team. Nicole, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself to set things up?
Yeah, sure. Hi guys, I'm Nicole Solari. I'm in the Northern California Napa Solano market. I just got my real estate license about 3 years ago, and I started my team last May. So last year we closed 191 transactions and 68 million in volume.
Third year. That's incredible.
Go Solari Team! Go Solari Team!
I'm Andrew Duncan from Tampa, Florida. My wife and I, the Duncan duo, own and operate a team in Tampa. We learned yesterday we finished number 4 in the U.S. for RE/MAX. Almost 900 transactions and right around $200 million in volume and just short of $7 million in GCI revenue.
Yes. Very good.
Hi, I'm Lauren Hampton from Raleigh, North Carolina. I own RE/MAX One Realty. I run a team, and I work with some of the greatest agents that own their own teams, that run their own teams in my organization. Sharon Evans, Christina Balkanoff, Kelly DeBross, April Stevens, great team leaders.
Awesome. Wonderful. Marty, thank you.
So I'm Chris Lindahl, Minneapolis, Minnesota, the Chris Lindahl team. I run the team with Sarah Pickett, but I just want to say, Eric, great job. Like in the back, that was unbelievable. It ties in so much to everything we do with the Chris Lindahl team. Last year, we did just around 700 transactions for 180 million.
Wonderful.
So we're on our way.
On our way. All right. I think we can all say we really enjoyed the definition of vision that Eric gave earlier this morning. Nicole, we'll start with you. 190 transactions, 68 million in volume in 3 years. How important is it to you to set a strong vision?
I think a vision is really important, but more than just having the vision is sharing your vision with those around you, your team, your leaders, your family, your friends, so that they can help you achieve that vision, and giving them the big picture goals so that it empowers them to want to be part of the vision too.
Excellent. And Andrew, I know 900 transactions. I know having a strong vision, the communication of vision is really important to you and your team. But you also really believe that whether you're a team or an individual, you need to communicate that vision to the customer, right?
I think it's super important. I think they need to know what you stand for as a company. So we have core values and a mission statement, clearly on our website, a lot of our marketing materials. We talk about a lot on radio. And I think, it rings true to everything we do in our company, not just, with our customers, but our community as well.
Excellent. Now, Marty, I saw some pretty spectacular numbers up there. $372,000 is the average gross commission income of a team member. Yeah. This is a two-part question. Are you looking for any team members at this time? Be the first question. The second is obviously your leadership is contributing to that. So tell me a little bit more about your leadership style.
Well, I've really struggled with the mission statement over the years and this long involved thing. I've tried to write out about 100, but I really simplified it. I came up with what I think is my mission statement. And it is, if you're buying a home or you're selling a home, I want to make your life better. If you're my team member, I want to make your life better. If you're one of my agents, I want to make your life better. So it's just to make your life better.
Make your life better.
Yeah,
That sounds phenomenal. So Chris, you generate over 2,000 leads per month. Yeah. That's really pretty impressive.
We need agents.
Obviously,
Yeah, we need agents.
obviously that's one of your strong suits. So tell us, what is your strongest skill set? More importantly, what's your weakest skill set, and how do you balance that?
Yeah, so my strongest skill set is marketing for sure. I mean, obviously 2,000 leads a month. My weakest skill set is probably recruiting, to be honest. Like within our organization, recruiting is, we've been really weak there. And I know it kind of sounds cliche doing 700 transactions, but our per agent production was 42 last year. And so our production, you talk about vision and leadership, and that is great. We just don't have enough agents. Obviously, 2,000 leads a month. Anyone in the room that's going to do math is going to look at our conversion rate and say it's not very good. So we definitely need to get better with recruiting. And I think we're aware of that. I mean, we started a team last year, and so as we grow, one of the big things we had, and we talked about this at the Teams panel, is don't start a team before you have a personal brand. We had a big personal brand going into a team, and that's why we've generated so many leads.
Excellent. So leadership all around, from the vision to communicating to the consumer, having a great style, serving the customer, that is your goal, and knowing what your strengths and weaknesses, major part of leading and running a great team. Eric, yesterday, Dave Ramsey told the crowd that bosses push and leaders pull. What do you think of that statement?
Say it again.
Yeah, right? Bosses push and leaders pull.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's 100% true. And I think part of leadership is a bit of osmosis too, because I think just like negativity can spread like a virus, leadership can spread as well. And I think it's about sort of taking that light that we have and letting it leap into others. There's an amazing friend of mine. He's a partial quadriplegic, and he pedaled around the world with his hand cycle. I think it took him 18 months. And he got back and he said the greatest word in the English language is the word encourage. Not inspire, but encourage, to give people courage to do great things by our own example of doing great things. So I think when we live those leadership principles in that kind of way, we sort of pull people along, and we kind of, we're not just leaders ourselves, but we're trying to spread that light into our team so that it catches fire. And for sure, I've been a part of some great teams where people have caught fire and they have stepped up in amazing ways. And if they hadn't, my life would be very different.
That's beautiful, beautiful. So all of you, most of you, were individuals before you became a team. Andrew, we'll start with you. What made you think of a team?
Well, it kind of goes back to the big vision. We had big dreams, big goals, and being a sports person, playing, competitive sports my whole life, I knew that you could only do so much as one person. Every great athlete has a coach behind him, has a team behind him. So for me, because of some of the aspirations and goals that we had, building a team was the most logical path to that. I think the other part of it to help fuel that was having been in other real estate organizations prior to starting our own team, and seeing kind of the approach, which didn't have a lot of camaraderie, didn't have a lot of teamwork, and it just didn't mesh well with me. It just wasn't the business that I wanted to run. So I wanted to run a team because I felt like that was the best way to win, and it was the best way to help the most agents, the most customers, the most people, the community. It was a way for me to have the most impact that I didn't think I could do if I was just doing everything on my own. And I think it was because I realized weaknesses that I had, things in our business that I was terrible at, but that I could hire other people to help me with, or I could marry my wife that does a lot of stuff that I'm terrible at, that could help us grow that I couldn't do on my own.
Excellent. All right, Marty, same question to you. You were a top individual. What made you think team?
Well, I told you I was an only child, and I always wanted a brother or sister, so I was from a desolate place, and really, from poverty level, but I was there, and I always wanted to have somebody to share things with. So in a team, I think you want to share the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. When you had a bad day, you want to come in and commiserate, and when you had a great day, you want to celebrate.
Now, Nicole, you've said that you started a team because you wanted to help your team members and take them to a level that they couldn't do on their own. So tell me, what has been, would you say, the biggest mistake you've made in team development and running that business plan?
I've made a ton of mistakes. Don't get me wrong. I started the team the wrong way. I started hiring for agents that wanted to be on my team and hiring for agents to do transactions, and that didn't really work out. So we're from Napa, so it only takes one bad grape to spoil the whole barrel, and so we quickly found that out. So then we started hiring for culture. We decided, hey, we could take someone that fits into our culture and teach them to prospect and teach them real estate and teach them how to do the transactions. So now we hire for culture and teach them how to be top performers.
Woo. Now, Eric, you introduced us to some really great team leaders and team members of yours. How do you make sure that you build the team, make sure you got the right people in the right places, and if you have ever had a team member that wasn't in the right place, right time, how
Well, I've had some great teams for sure, and I think about that. You know, obviously I'm not going to put my life in the hands of somebody if they're going to like run me into a tree or something. But people do run you into a tree, and so it's a sort of a tricky balance, right? I mean, you have to be able to forgive quickly too. Harlan, I remember, gave me a left instead of a right, and he almost sent me right into the ledge hole. And that's just human. You got to get over that stuff. It's human beings make mistakes. So yeah, I don't find teams that recruit people that are perfect. But I will say this: the most important quality I try to find is not only do they want to be skilled, of course, and really know their environment well, but beyond that, they want to be motivated by challenges. So PV, our team leader on Everest, it was really cool because he said, he told me one time, he said, I have a dream. It's like a recurring dream of us standing on the summit together. And I think about it. When I wake up from this dream, I have tears in my eyes. And I think, God, that's great. So that most people wouldn't touch this thing with a 10-foot pole because they're like, that's way too hard. But certain people are motivated by challenges. They get fuel from challenges. And that's, I find, the constant quality, the unifying quality that I have in all my teams. They got to be charged up by wanting to be, to wanting to do hard things and be a part of great things.
Excellent. We're getting some claps. All right, Chris, so now we're going to get to the nitty-gritty. Describe your team and the basic structure and why you think it is the right way to be.
Yeah, so here's something I was just, I'm thinking about teams, and Eric really got my wheels turned in the back there. And here's something that I haven't heard, and I thought about teams, and I think I've seen in this industry, like, you look at brokers and you look at teams, and a lot of times they almost become sort of enemies. And so, like, in our team, like, I look at my broker, John Colpe, is part of our team.
Right.
And so we've got our broker who's part of our team, and then we've obviously got our team. So we've got Sarah Pickens, who was actually in the back of the green room, making sure that I even went the right direction. And so having those critical pieces to your team, that's when you really get that velocity. And yeah, there are times, like Eric said, where you run into certain trees, but if you have the right talent around you, you miss those trees, and you don't worry about objections, and you literally can do whatever you want in life. And so I look at our team, and 42 units per agent production on our team is incredible. And it's because we have the right people in the right places now. And I think all too often I see it in leadership, in companies, and all these other organizations, and you have the wrong people in the wrong places, and you're literally running into trees left and right. And so, Eric laughed, because it's the truth. Like, if you have the wrong people, and I will tell you right now, Chris Lindahl selling houses and meeting with clients, I'm in the wrong seat. Like, my follow-up's not good. Like, you don't want me there. You want me in charge of marketing, and that's the only thing. And you want Sarah leading our team, helping our agents, inspiring our agents. They call her Mama Bear, because she's the right person for that seat, and that's not my seat. And too often, in traditional real estate, when I was an individual agent, you have an agent who is trying to do like 30 different things and be great at all of them. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, no, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
So how many people are on your team, and what does the structure look like?
Yep, so we have 17 agents. We had a couple less last year, and we have 2 admin, and we have 4 ISAs.
Okay.
So approximately just a little over 20 total on our team.
Sounds good. Marty, tell us about your structure. Same question.
So I have about 7 or 8 buyer's agents. I have 3 listing agents, and I have 5 to 6 support people. And I agree with him, because I think, agents are doing too much, and I really think you can be a great buyer's agent if a buyer's agent is all you're going to be. You're going to be the very best buyer's agent. And my listing agents, they could go on 20 listing appointments a week. I mean, and when you go on that many appointments, you get really good at presentation. So I believe in going not wide, but very deep.
Well, so how do you help folks identify what their perfect place on the team is? Do you ever have people who come in and they say, I want to be a buyer's agent, but really, you've developed them into the listing agent side, or they come in and they're a buyer's agent, really, maybe the transaction coordination is the best plan for them. How do you identify or help them discover their place?
I'm not great at identifying anything, but I will tell you this. has a personality profile, and he can actually tell me whether they're better buyer's agents or better listing agents. But the bottom line is when your buyer's agent is more one-on-one and you get more feedback from your buyers and your listing presentation is more hard to sell. I mean, you go in, the object is to go in, get a signed listing in about an hour and a half. And that's a different skill.
Absolutely. The balance is good. Andrew, tell us about your team structure.
So similar to Marty, we run a specialist model. So we have 8 listing partners, about 24 buyer agents, and then we have 3 directors. So our 3 directors are director of listings, director of buyers, and director of operations. So we don't call them managers because, like Dave Ramsey said, we want them to be leaders, not managers. And then we have 12 support staff. So for us, we want to take as much off the plate of the agent as we can. So from entering listings to taking photographs and videos, which we do in-house, we don't sub that out to third-party companies. We want to take as much off their plate as we can so they can focus on selling, serving more customers, and then kind of focus on what they specialize in and what they do best at. So it's a model that's worked great for us.
Fantastic. Nicole, tell us about your team.
So my model is pretty basic. It's we don't have specialists, we have agents. So we just hired our 13th agent, and then we have 1 admin and then an assistant. So pretty basic, and like I said, nobody really specializes. My agents do both listings and buyers. They work with all customers.
All right, wonderful. And what are the 2 most important positions do you think on your team, Nicole?
So the 2 most important positions is my badass assistant, who keeps me totally grounded and in line.
I hope she's in the room.
He is in the room.
He is in the room. Badass assistant.
Darren.
And that is like the most critical position. Once you start getting busy, I call them dollar-producing activities. If you're putting lock boxes on houses or sign writers on for sale signs, you're not making money. So hire your badass assistant first, and then the second is going to be your lieutenant. So someone who can help lead and mentor and train.
Okay, great. So you have somewhat of a generalist model where you are hiring agents. They're doing both list and buy side. I think Andrew's a little different. You have specialists, listing and buy. Eric, what do you think about what you're hearing here? The difference between having team members that are specialists or cross-functional generalists?
Yeah, on all my climbing teams, you do have specialists, for sure. And I think about my little company in Golden. We hire people, obviously, to do certain things, but then you kind of have to have an openness in your culture to let people gravitate towards the things that they want to do and they feel they do best and how they can contribute to the team. So there has to be some flexibility. And in the mountains, it's the same way. Everyone has their job to do, but when it hits the fan, they're no longer that specialist role. They are a team, period. And I remember coming down from Everest, sitting in my tent with my crampons on and my boots, waiting till every last person came in to the tents and keeping my boots on, saying, like, you got to be willing to go out there for your team and commit to them. So yeah, I mean, I'm very careful when people come into my teams to say, look, you may be great at social media, but ultimately, you do what you need to do to get us to the summit.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so Marty, I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with team leaders who've said, I started a team so I could get time back, right? I started a team thinking I needed to get a little bit more time back in my life, and so I've got other people that I can work with to give me that time. How do you manage your activities so that you can actually enjoy some life with all of those transactions and all that production?
Well, I understand there's a price to pay, and I've never really suffered under the idea that I'd be laying by the pool watching soap operas. So I just understand that, and I enjoy work. So that's important. I enjoy seeing my team members excel, and I just like to do it better. I really haven't done the deal perfect yet. I keep on trying to do it perfect, but I hadn't quite got it down, so I work hard.
Keep working on it. Keep working. All right, so Andrew, 50 people. It's a lot of people to manage, a lot of tasks to manage. How do you, and I know manage is not the right word here. I know that's where you're giving me the stare down.
You have the wrong question.
You're giving me the stare down. So let's talk about leadership and how do you make sure, let's talk about accountabilities and everybody's roles and responsibilities.
So, and I think it's important to understand that it certainly wasn't built in a day. You learn a lot through trial and error. We learn a lot through coaching. But for me now, I really have 3 or 4 people in the company that I coach, that I deal with on a regular basis. That the agents don't come to me directly; they go to their, the leader of their division. And so my goal really is growing the company. It's what I'm good at. Kind of like what Chris said earlier. In our company, we want to focus on what we're good at. So my wife is amazing at operations, so she really, has that division of the company, and then I'm on the sales and marketing side. But we have leaders kind of in between us and the agents, and that's just the reality of running a large business. You have to have roles and responsibilities, but it's accountability to results. I think, which is most important. And we always say that we want to have, self-managed, self-disciplined people, so that if we have to manage you, we don't really need you. So we don't want someone that we have to, constantly manage. We want somebody that has goals and aspirations, that want to go out and hit those goals, and we can help them do that, but we don't want to have to manage people. And I think by focusing on that within our culture, we don't have to do as much, quote unquote, management. We can be more focused on being leaders.
Was the transaction coordination position the first that you hired for on your team?
Yeah, I think you have to hire administratively first. If you're a great salesperson, and I think everybody in this room that wants to start a team, everybody's going to be different. Maybe you're stronger on the operations side, maybe you're stronger as a salesperson. If you're strong suited sales, then yes, absolutely, that's what you would hire first. That doesn't mean that you can't start a team if you're not even the greatest salesperson, because there are people out there that are not great salespeople but still have amazing teams. So for me, yeah, it was administratively first, and I didn't really hire her. I married her. That whole I don't know if I can recommend that. I would tell you, if you are a husband and wife team, if you are a husband and wife team, or you're starting a business as a husband and wife, I will tell you it is really, really freaking hard. The first couple of years, you're going to both fire each other, you're going to quit, you're going to yell at each other, you're going to have dinners that are heated, and it's a constant struggle. And I think where we've built it today, we don't communicate as much on a daily basis. We're not in the same office. We're kind of running, we trust each other to run the parts of the company that we run. But I can tell you that if you are in business with your family, you got to have some barriers. You've got to have, some guidelines. You have to make sure to protect, kind of that family time, that away time where you cannot talk about the business. So, but yeah, hiring, I think, administratively is key. You want to get all the dollar productive activities off you if you're a master salesperson, so that you can go do as much of that as you can, and then additional administrative people, and then agents.
Okay, great. I was going to ask the kind of follow-up question to Marty. From a team member perspective, how do you know it's time to add a team member to your team?
Well, you've got maybe your people are struggling for time. You're seeing the balls being dropped, and I had to have that this morning right before I came out here. The ball was dropped, so I got to handle it. And so you say, well, maybe you got too much going on. Let's get somebody else in here to help.
Fantastic. So when you notice that there's too much going on, or balls are dropping, you need to find somebody.
And also, there's one other time. When you see talent, you make a place for talent.
Yes.
And talent is hard to find. And I have kind of got to develop a thing over the years that you got to have 2 H's. You got to have 2 qualities that both start with an H to really make it in real estate. And that is, you got to have heart and you got to have hustle. And if you got heart and don't have hustle, you're not going to make it. If you got hustle, no heart, you're not going to make it. You got to have both.
Got it.
Make it in this business.
Love it. I'm actually clapping that out.
Hustle and heart.
So you guys are talking about identifying, finding great talent. What about developing? How are you, as far as developing team members, what are you focused on?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing in team development for us, and it's sort of become like a loosely coined term, but it's culture. So culture is just a really important piece to our team. Like we have a group, family of just complete rock stars. We spend a lot of time together, and I think developing those relationships, and I go back to Eric's point about that tree, like you have to trust your team and build that culture that that they're going to go out and they're going to carry your vision, and they're going to do what you would do in that appointment, because the reality is, as you grow, you can't be at every appointment, you can't be on every phone call. And so the second part to that is we invest in personal development for our agents. And I think a lot of people focus so much on, I need more real estate training, I need more real estate, I need more leads, and we got all this stuff going on, and we forget to take care of us and focus on the personal development, which I think is way more important, because if you're developed personally, like that's where that rocket fuel, where you completely take off. And we've seen, like on our team, we want to develop everyone to be an amazing leader so that they can lead in their community. And especially, you know, I look at the world now and everything that's going on, like our communities need us to be leaders. And so you have to invest in people so that they can go out and carry your message and have that leadership and feel confident with it. Because as most of you know, there are a lot of people in the industry that struggle with leadership. And I think the reason is they've never invested in themselves.
Are there specific coaches that you use or suggest?
Yeah, so, you know, what I would recommend is I would recommend anything outside the industry. I don't need any more real estate knowledge or leads. Like, I need personal development, how to become a better leader, always be a student, consistently learning. A couple of them that are really big, obviously, that people have heard of are like Brendan Bouchard, or like a Tony Robbins, or people like that really focus on, you know, and the thing about Brendan is he talks more about high performance, so living a high performance life, where Tony Robbins is more like peak performance, like how do you get to your peak performance, but then you start to come down. So, you know, on our team, we want everyone to live a high performance life, so it's consistent, and you're not going those ups and downs where you're just hitting peaks.
Wonderful. I mean, we heard a lot of that from Eric today.
Okay.
Nicole, I know this is a passionate place for you as well on the development side. How are you developing your team, and do you have any specific coaches you are turning to?
Yeah, so funny enough, speaking of coaches, that should be your first hire. Before you even hire a badass assistant, first hire should be coach. And actually, the guy sitting next to me, Andrew, he told me that 2 years ago when I got into the business. I was calling top performers around the country, and he's like, your name looks familiar when I met him backstage. I said, yeah, I called you 2 years ago, and you told me to hire a coach, so thank you for that. And then as far as development, you know, developing a team, people come to the team to be peak performers, to be top performers. So you take a $3 to $5 million agent, you turn them into a $10 million agent, and you don't do that overnight. It's a process. So investing in them and becoming their coach and having them buy into their own goals, making sure that you're goal setting with them, holding them accountable, and it's about culture too. Chris talked a lot about culture. People want to come work for the team. I started my career in Silicon Valley working at startups, and how do they attract and retain the most talented people in the industry? It's not about big salaries, it's about the culture. There's beer in the fridge, there's, you know, snacks in the fridge, yeah, chips. It's the little things, and it's so cheap for me as a team leader to keep that refrigerator stocked and to have snacks and have game nights at the office, but it's huge to the team.
To have the development. So yeah, long story short, this is a perfect example of why to network with the people and grab value from the people you network. So I learned backstage that Nicole, when she was getting into the business 3 years ago, called Andrew, and Andrew almost helped convince you to get into real estate. I learned that Andrew, when he was getting up and coming, contacted Marty to learn what to do with listing presentations. And I know that Chris and Andrew collaborate a lot on the marketing piece. So this is just a great example of where that power of RE/MAX comes together.
Well, I think, you know, the important part of that sometimes gets missed is, you know, we all started from somewhere. And so, you know, like I mentioned, Marty and several other people, you know, we do RE/MAX that we would call and ask questions to when we were building our team. And now, you know, we pay it forward. And some of those same agents that helped me will now call me for advice. And so when, you know, no one knew who we were and people would take my call and help me, you know, I view that as an opportunity to give back when people now do the same to me. So don't be afraid to be surprised at how many top producers want to help you. I mean, it's a lot of reason people, you know, join and, you know, grow large teams is to help as many people as they can. So sometimes you reaching out so they can help you is part of their, you know, vision too.
Excellent. You know, we'll stick with you. Let's talk about marketing for a second, because you are generating 4,000 or more leads per month. I know you're doing big things with marketing. What percentage of your revenue do you actually spend on that marketing?
So 10 to 15% of our revenue, and it ebbs and flows a little bit seasonally as well as depending on, you know, when we're in growth mode. I think the important thing to think about marketing though is you know, a lot of you in the room may do the math, and for us it's pretty close to $1 million a year, and that may freak you out. And I know when I talk to other teams that were doing really big numbers, at first before we were where we are today, when I heard that number, you know, I wanted to, you know, scream and fear and everything. So I think the really important thing about marketing is to focus on one thing at a time, get really good at it, and make sure you master it before you add something else. So, we started our team, almost 10 years ago, and so it wasn't built overnight. We didn't do all the marketing we do immediately. It was something added every 6 months to a year. We would hold that money accountable, make sure something's working, and then add something new. We make sure we have enough agents. We make sure we'd be able to support the business. So it's something that you have to grow into incrementally. There are a lot of vendors out in the exhibit hall that would love to sell you guys everything under the sun. But when you come back to your office after an event like this, so many people will buy too much and not implement and do what they need to do to make that advertising spend successful. So don't overdo it. Do one thing at a time, do it really well, and then add pillars to that. And that's exactly what we've done. We would do something, it would work, we'd do a little bit more of it, and then we would add something new, and it was really an incremental process. And I think the way doing it that way instead of growing too fast, you also get to grow with your culture. If you grow too fast, you can lose a lot of people. There's just a lot of things that can happen from that process of either losing your talent or not having a strong enough culture to support the growth.
Now I'm going to ask you a question I know you don't love, but it's my favorite thing to do.
Awesome.
What is your number one lead source?
Our number one lead source, we do very, very well with radio. Radio's worked for us for a long time. I host a radio show. We run a lot of radio ads. So I would say it's probably the biggest driver for us. Secondarily, I would say sign calls. I think if you control the inventory, you control the market. In fact, I just stole Marty's quote because I've heard her say that many, many times.
He does this all the time.
I know, right? Everything that I'm saying right now, she told me to say. So, but no, if you control the inventory, you control the market. So I think, from an advertising perspective, you want to do everything you can to get as many listings as you can, and then the buyer leads come from there. So for us, we want advertising dedicated towards generating listings because they bring the buyers. There's an extra marketing impression with a sign and a sold sign and different things you do with listings that you don't get with buyer.
Absolutely. Chris, same question.
Okay, I want to just touch on something really fast. I forgot to mention that I want to mention. You talk about culture in success leaves so many clues. And I just want to mention that one person, Darren Dawson from Bomb Bomb, actually invited me to come out and spend 2 days at Bomb Bomb in Colorado. And going there and spending time with a tech company, essentially a startup that's now made it, I was blown away by the way that organization runs. So even if you're an individual agent or a team, going to other industries and following and shadowing people can give you a lot of clues. So I'll answer the question now. Ours is significantly higher than Andrew's right now, but we're at a different spot than he is. So we're really investing in our brand right now. So we're not as much around platforms and leads. We're developing a brand because I'm convinced that the industry is going to change. And the one thing that no matter what changes is they can't take your brand away from you. And so we're really focused on building a powerhouse brand in our market so that when the industry does change, they can't take that away. And the second part to that is why we're so focused on leadership and development, because that's another thing as the industry changes, they can't take that from you. If you invest in yourself, I don't care if the commissions change, I don't care if there's new platforms, they won't beat you if you have leadership and you have a brand.
I think agents depend entirely too much on MLS as their sole form of marketing. If you can't figure out how to add to or overdo besides MLS, you're going to be out of business in the next 5 years. I believe that.
So Marty, do you allow your team members to individually advertise, or is it all team advertising?
We recently took team pictures, and I took some pictures with them, and they keep on saying they're going to do some joints, but they never do. I end up doing the whole thing, so I don't know that that's going to work, but the option is there for them.
All right, excellent. So Nicole, same question. What's your number one lead source, and about what percentage of your revenue are you spending on marketing?
Yeah, I think the magic number is that 10% of your revenue. So we reinvest 10% of our revenue back into marketing, which has very, very much increased in 2016. We get a lot of sign calls too. So for every post, every sign that's in the ground, we hope to generate at least 3 more leads from that, whether it's another listing or buyers. But that's our number one lead source, is getting those listings out there. What did you say? If you own the market,
If you own the inventory.
Oh, I love that.
Yes, it was hers.
Oh, sorry. Quote Marty. Y'all tweet Marty at Marty.
Yeah, at Marty Hampton. At Marty Hampton. Tell her thank you for the quote.
Hashtag
I'm going to get a bill later. Like I probably violated the trademark. She's going to say, that was my phrase.
It's so true, though. If you have signs in the ground, people are calling in. I mean, we do internet leads as well. But moreover, it's not how much I'm spending, it's what's working for me. So I'm constantly, weekly, monthly, sitting down with my budget and sitting down with my leads and seeing what we're converting and what we're not converting. Because if we're spending $5,000 a month on Realtor.com and we have a 0% conversion, I might reevaluate that and put that more into a text capture. We use a text capture writer on all of our signs as well, which gives us a ton of leads.
Okay. I know I've had conversations with almost all of you about your number one lead source, and the answer is almost always, but that's misleading, because what may work for me is not going to work for someone else. So that's where I was going with the setup. Yes?
So I didn't answer that question. I'm sorry. I tend to come back to questions later. So our number, Sarah. You need Sarah. Okay, we're Sarah. Sarah around here? Take some direction. Ours is past client in sphere of influence. We're almost 60% past client in sphere, and the reason I think that is because we're investing so heavily in our brand, and we've got a really big social media presence, and so that's why we're really focused on that. It's a lot easier to convert someone that knows you or is 2 or 3 degrees away from you than someone that is completely cold, that's driving around, on a sign or doing something like that. So our number one source is sphere of influence by long ways.
I think, kind of to add on that, like I said before, what may work for me won't necessarily work for someone else. And sometimes it's budgetary, because what I would spend in one of those sources would be much more substantial than someone else may be able to spend, and it may not be enough impressions for it to make sense for them. So I believe in master the basics first. So, everything that you can do for free or inexpensively, master those first, and then add things from there. Because, if you're an agent that doesn't have a really strong brand where a lot of people know who you are, and you've been a strong agent for a long time, going out into some of the mass media type advertising won't work, because people don't know if they're going to hear it, or you're not going to do it long enough. So, I really believe in that incremental plan that, certainly, things like radio, for example, are not something that, it's something very few agents should do, because unless it's done right, and in the right time, when you've got a strong enough brand where people are going to know who you are anyway, then it won't work. I've heard lots and lots of people say, I heard you do radio on stage, so I went out and did radio, and they didn't necessarily do it right, but then they failed with it because maybe the timing wasn't right for them to do it.
So, Christy, you mentioned BombBomb. We're going to talk about some technology tools. What is your must-have technology tool?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that. You kind of tee me up. It actually probably is BombBomb.
Okay.
Like, that is really critical for us. Like,
Is Darren, he's throwing you some money afterwards.
Oh, yeah, we're all going out. So if everyone wants to go out, BombBomb is paying for it.
Let's go.
So the reason I say BombBomb is because, our number one core value is be authentic. And you can show yourself and be authentic through video. You don't get that same feeling if you text a lead, if you text a past client, if you email them, if you send them a letter. It's not the same feeling as that face-to-face. If you look at the stats of like the conversion rates, that how many, I think it's like 70-80% of people use that they see first. And so you send that video and you have that touch point, that follow-up. I think it's so critical that we forgot, that this whole world was built on face-to-face communication. And Eric mentioned earlier about all these apps and algorithms and all this stuff that we forgot how to be human. And so that's what BombBomb does, and that's why we really like it. And I can tell you that we have had so much success, not only from converting leads, but also past clients. Just something as simple as going to someone's Facebook page and saying, hey, I saw that you were on vacation, it looked like you enjoyed your time, or you just had a baby, or you're married, or whatever. Maybe in some cases you bought a house with someone else. Everyone's got that goes on too. But sending those videos and staying in touch with them is really important for us. And I think people get a sense of who you are on a video way more than they do in a text message or an email.
Marty, how about you?
Oh, I have several.
Great.
Those things, I think video is the way of the future. But there's 2 favorite things that of course, I've got a non-branded coming soon site that we'll put about 400 homes that we're preparing for market on, and that's been very, very good to us. But also Boomtown. In Boomtown, we've been doing business with Boomtown for about 10 years, and we we went deep with it. In other words, we didn't try it for 2 years and then hang it up. We drove it like we stole it. You know, we continued to ride it, and that's the way we work.
Yeah. Those are your two?
Those are two.
All right.
Similarly, you know, we've been with Boomtown a really long time, and also Bomb Bomb a really long time. I think we were probably a couple of the original, maybe top first, you know, groups of customers to sign up with them. I think one of the important things about technology, though, is that so often agents will jump from system to system to service to service. Oh, we'll use this one for 4 months and don't like it, so I'm going to change. Or I use it for a year and then I'm going to change. What I know now, running the organization the size that I do, is in talking to the friends of mine that are in, you know, running these large teams, you don't realize how much downtime you lose when you make these changes like this. So I believe in using something and sticking to it, implementing, improving it, you know, making tweaks to it. The people that jump systems, there's lots of people that are in my peer networking group that I've passed up because it seems like they're changing to a new company every single year. So, you know, use something and stick to it. The shiny object, you know, that looks great isn't always the case. And likely the company you're with is going to come out with, you know, something similar soon. So, you know, I see far too often people changing systems. I think that's really the key to success, is sticking with the system, implementing and growing with it, and not, you know, jumping ship all the time, because there's so much operational loss in that. People have to learn a new system. Your customers have to get a login. There's so many opportunities that are lost from that that go unnoticed just because maybe this website has some cool little bell and whistle that, you know, your agents aren't likely to use. So, but yeah, Boomtown and Bomb Bomb we've been with for, you know, 7-8 years. I mean, a long time with both of them. I also like Viral Marketing. It's a company that helps you shoot educational videos and build a YouTube page, and YouTube has worked really, really well for us. You know, we have testimonials, neighborhood videos, and different things on there, and it has a lot of Google juice, so it helps, you know, SEO as well.
Excellent. Nicole, same question.
There seems to be a theme here. Get a good CRM and use video, right? So video is so powerful. I was at a Christmas party and someone came up to me and they said, "Oh my gosh, I feel like I know you. I see your videos everywhere. I feel like you're my friend." And to have that, to go into an appointment with someone already feeling like they know you, you have an edge up on the competition. So video is huge, and it also helps your marketing, and you're only as good as your database. So have a good CRM and stick with it. There are a lot of bells and whistles out there, you know, shiny objects that you can chase. Stick with something and concentrate your efforts on sales, not the shiny objects.
Awesome. All right, so you all have obviously built and support incredible teams. Why is having RE/MAX as a brand behind you so important?
It goes back to what Chris said earlier. I mean, we're building a big local brand. RE/MAX has a big global brand. So, you know, someone from New York or Canada or someone else relocating to Tampa Bay isn't necessarily going to know or hear us from our local advertising. So for us, you know, when we obviously made the change over to, to RE/MAX, even though we didn't increase advertising spend at all during that year, you know, the opportunity, we got more opportunities because it was a more recognized brand. It went further because people knew who it was. And I think just a natural, you know, if you are building a brand, why wouldn't you be aligned with the company that's built the best brand?
Right. Go ahead, Chris.
So RE/MAX for us is, you know, one thing is the networking. For sure, like Amy, you had mentioned, you know, the stories of Nicole and Andrew and Marty and how they've connected. And I don't know that those doors would be open if we weren't at a brand like a RE/MAX. You know, we might not have this panel here, we might not have this event, because this brand provides so much education. And one thing that's that I applaud you guys for is the way that you're investing in teams, and that, you know, having the teams events and the things that you're doing, and bringing people like Eric here, like, it's unbelievable. Like, those things, the takeaways of that, whether I'm an individual agent or a team, the things that Eric shared today, like, that's life. Like, that's what's going to get you to the next level. Not going to the exhibit hall, like Andrew said, and buying a bunch of new widgets. And there was something that was shared with me a couple years ago by an agent, and I've never forgot it, is as you're growing a team and as you're growing your real estate business, you have to get comfortable being bored. Like, and it's like, it's a big challenge for me, and it's probably a big challenge for a lot of high drivers in the room, is that you always want to be changing things and adding things, and you need more leads, you need this, you need that. And if you take a step back and just be okay being in one place and being still and being present, like, you can grow your business a lot further that way than just disrupting people. I laugh about it because it was such a mistake as I was early on in our team. But I would just roll something out every day. Like, we would go in, like, we're going to use this messaging platform, we're going to do this, and people can relate to it. Like, everyone's just getting whiplash, like, back and forth, like, oh my gosh, what is Chris going to roll out today? And so, you know, with Sarah, like, in charge now, it's like that buffer zone where we can talk about things and think about everything before we get to that point. And a lot of these things that we've learned are from RE/MAX agents and are from RE/MAX brokers. Because like I said earlier, when I went to BombBomb and these other companies, success leaves a lot of clues. This business hasn't changed that much. The technology has changed, and there are platforms that are going to help us, but there are also a lot that are going to distract us. And so it's still a face-to-face person business, yet now we've got all these apps and shiny objects. It really hasn't changed that much. Technology's led us to believe that it has.
That's a good point. Good point.
Yep.
All right, Nicole, same question. How are you using the RE/MAX brand?
So I'm a huge proponent of the big RE/MAX brand. I think it's so powerful to have an amazing agent with an awesome brand backed by a great team with an awesome brand all under RE/MAX. Why would a consumer choose any other agent when you're competing against them? I mean, I'm driving in my car and my kids see the RE/MAX balloon on a billboard. They said, "Mommy, look, for sale." I mean, a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, they know the brand. So to be able to have that on our marketing and the international exposure that we get, I don't know why anybody would be anywhere else.
And Marty?
To me, RE/MAX is the gold standard. And you know, I never wanted to play with anybody but the best. I wanted to be on the best team. I wanted to compete with the best. I could have my own company with, you know, Marty Hampton Real Estate, sell a few houses, but I wouldn't be giving my sellers the worldwide network that we have, and I wouldn't be playing ball with the best team on the planet. And if you saw those stats yesterday, you know that this is the place to be. If you can make, what's that, New York? If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. Let me tell you something. You can make it here, you can make it anywhere. This is a great foundation.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, here we go with a final question for all of you. Nicole, I'll start with you. What advice would you have for people looking to take their business to the next level? Not just teams, individuals, people looking to take their business to the next level.
I think it's all a mindset. You have to stay positive, and you have to. People ask me in this business all the time with things moving so quickly and so much chaos. How are you always so calm and happy? And it's because it's a mindset. So if you put your mind to it and you want to go to that next level, whether it's an income or number of units or just your personal goals, you're going to get there. Make sure that you keep your mind right and don't let all the, what do you call them, widgets distract you. Don't let other agents with bad attitudes distract you. Stay focused. Talk about H's. She said she has 2 H's. I have 3 H's. Stay hungry, humble, and hustle. If you grind and you're grinding all day long, nothing's going to stand in your way.
Excellent.
Woo!
Andrew?
I agree with that a lot. I mean, I think, you know, a lot of the people sitting up here right now started from nothing. I grew up, in, not the greatest, economic environment. My first job was shucking corn. I said that yesterday in the panel, and there were actually people who knew who it was. And so I think, starting from that and then building it from there, anyone can be successful in this business. I'm really not that smart. I just implement really, really well. And I think the other side of it is as you grow, the focus thing becomes important, because if you grow a great big brand just like RE/MAX, in our local markets, you become a bit of a target. I think you have to avoid some of the chaos that can come with jealousy and the distractions that come along with that. So if you have a big vision and you want to build a great big company, be prepared for not everybody wanting to be on that bus with you. And I think avoiding the distractions, getting involved with that, staying focused on your customers, your company, is really, really important.
Great advice. Marty?
It is an internal thing. It's a decision that you make internally. And when you bet on yourself, I think you're going to win. And you do face fear. You certainly don't face the kind of fear that he faced on the rapids, mountain falls and stuff. But you do face rejection. And it is easier to stop. It's just easier. But something drives you inside, and you decide to go to that next level. And it's all an internal. It's a head game. It's my game.
Chris?
Yeah, so there's a couple things. the thing that I think back to is we were transitioning from, I was an agent to a team, is you have to figure out what you stand for and what you want. Like Andrew talks about the vision, and like you have to figure out like who you are, where you're going, and this is a great point by Andrew, is not everyone's going to be on your bus. Like you just have, but you have to have a clear vision. And I was as guilty as everyone else, where I just went on Google and found a vision, and I told Sarah, like, this is what we stand for. And like, over time, like, you have to really figure out who you are and dig deep. And you know, I credit Sarah for really sitting down. We spent 6 months really trying to figure out, like, what do we stand for? Because now we have people that stand for the same things we do, and they carry the vision and the message that we do. The other thing, to Nicole's point about, like, your state of mind is the most important thing that you have. And I'll give you 2 quick examples of 2 things that happened in the last year for the Crystal Bell team. So last fall, we did our 3rd annual pumpkin giveaway. And so 3 days before the event, I gave everyone in the whole entire team a heart attack. A couple days before the event, I said, we're going to try to break the Guinness Book of World Records for the longest pumpkin line. And Sarah's like, no, we're not. We got this huge blow up. She went in her office. Then I heard her call her parents. She goes, and her dad's an engineer. And she goes, Chris is absolutely nuts. He thinks we're going to break the Guinness Book of World Records in 3 days. And we had our whole team come together. We created a line through tons of soccer fields, and we did it. And the reason we did it is because of state of mind. And so that's it. And the second one happened last week, and it's with the book that we just wrote, Sold, which Dave Liniger actually did the forward, so thank you, Dave. And I said, we are going to get bestseller for every single category in real estate on Amazon on this date. And we did it, and the reason we did it is because it's a state of mind. We are not going to fail. Like our team is going to take over, because there's no room for failure. There isn't. And it's so, that hit home with David Nicole, like, it is state of mind. Like, if you have state of mind, you can literally accomplish anything you want.
And if that doesn't work for you, you can Google your vision.
All right, Eric, you are the most appropriate person to end this question with. People thinking, I'm going to take my business to the next level. What's your words of wisdom?
Well, in a soundbite, I mean, I think it really comes down to use this energy of coming together with your RE/MAX associates, your rope team here, to think hard about what climbing means to you, what it means for you to be a climber personally, what is going to resonate deeply, fulfillingly, with purpose for you. And think about what that means to be a climber, and go for it. Do it.
Go do it. All right, thank you. All right, everyone, a big round of applause for Nicole, Andrew, Marty, Chris, and especially Eric.
Thanks for watching, Solari Team.
Natasha.
Say bye to everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Burger time.
Buffet time.